buddies, how the hell you doing out there? My name is Scott, and I am here to inform the 2% Club that I'm calling it. I'm here to help you out. Trust me, this morning, if I would have done this video, I would have been the grumpy old fart, and you probably would say, I'm never gonna watch his videos again, he's mean to me. What does he mean by 2% Club? I'm gonna try my best to get into this because there's a lot of information, and this is my lunch break, and you know what, let me get right into it. About 3 weeks ago, I did a tutorial video, 2-part tutorial video. Yes, I know it was long, but you know, I can't do tutorial videos when it comes to rehauling a mask that's only 10 minutes long. Some can, I can't, because I'm special that way, I guess, right? Well, 98% of you caught on. In other words, you're like, okay, makes sense, this is cool. This inspired me, and you know, I've seen some photos and pictures of some of your rehauls. They look great, and there's been a half a dozen of you so far that have sent me your masks, or I've ordered some for you and I've rehauled them for you. That's fine, that was great. You guys were so cool, so nice, and overwhelmed with joy, and very happy with what the mask that you received, you know, from my end. So thank you guys once again. I truly appreciate your business and your kind words. Now, when it comes to that 2% Club, I was about ready to... This morning, I was a grumpy old man, and I'm just so thankful that I took the time. I went to work. I thought about it some more. I'm like, you know what, Scott? It's just like your kids at soccer. Okay, my son's soccer league this time of the year. I'm their head coach. What do they do every Wednesday and Sunday? Basically every 3 to 4 days. Hey, Coach Scott, can I ask you something? Hey, can I ask you something? Granted, 9 times out of 10, it's the same question they asked the week before or 3 or 4 days before. But they're kids. They're supposed to do that. And I'm thankful that they're doing that. I wish my son would do that more, but, you know, don't want to go there. So I got to thinking, you know what? There's a good possibility that maybe some of these individuals, they're just kids, you know, they didn't watch or they didn't get what I was talking about. In other words, I'm going to take the time right now during my lunch break and explain or go over the popular questions that I received, what I call the 2% Club. So let's get right into it. All right, let me pull this up on the screen here. All right, as you see here, the monster makers. Oh, before I do, I want to make this really clear. Sorry, I apologize. As I stated in the tutorial video, maybe both of them, I am absolutely no expert on this subject, okay? I'm not, even though I dabbled in this when I was younger. I was horrible at it, started working with it again, because I went through all this in the tutorial. Reminding you, I'm no expert. There are other YouTubers out there that are experimenting or getting very good at this rehaul. There's individuals on Instagram. I know a lot of you love Facebook. You're going to find it there. There's guys that we've been buying, independent artists we've been buying masks from for years. You know, maybe they'll have the time to answer some of your questions, but I can't guarantee you that they will, because I know for a fact, and this is out of respect for all of the great independent artists, mask makers out there. They're swamped, especially this time of the year. So they're not going to be rude. They're just busy as hell getting your orders because they would love to get your mask to you before either the 15th or the 31st, okay? So on behalf of all the independent mask makers or guys out there that finish masks or guys that are just now getting the rehaul, they have customers, please understand this is a very busy time of the year. So if they don't get around to answering questions, it's nothing personal. They're like Santa little elves, and they're doing everybody's job at once. Trust me, I know this for a fact. All right, so I'm no expert. They're busy. Just be patient. Do your homework, YouTube, the library, whatever. I think you got the gist of it. The internet, for Pete's sake. There you go. All right, back to what, okay. Come on, pop up on the screen. Making me look bad. The Monster Makers RD407 Mask Making Latex. What's this all about, Scott? Why are you showing me this? A lot of you already know what it is. You know what it's all about. Some of you that have been asking, and I'm paraphrasing, is it okay if I just basically use like cheap latex to mix it up with my acrylic paints because I really can't afford blah, blah, blah. All right, here's what's so important about RD407 mask making latex by the monster makers. And I'm going by this company here because this is the company that I know. This is the company that I trust. This is what I've been using for a long time. And I know a lot of artists out there as well have been going by with monsters makers. Sure, there's other companies out there that specialize in supplies just like the monsters makers. If you do your homework, I'm sure you'll find them. And I'm sure they're great products as well. But I'm just going by with what I've used and what I was doing in those tutorials, okay? Because granted, there are so many other methods, but keep in mind, this is just what I was doing in those tutorials for you. So answer that question, could you use the cheap stuff? That cheap stuff is basically paint. You can pretty much get it at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace, you know, your hardware stores. They've got interior, exterior, but if you're gonna eventually go down that road, get the interior liquid latex, okay? Interior, not the exterior. But like I said, we're going with what I went over the tutorial because I don't want to confuse myself, let alone you anymore. So if you notice here, 1 quart is only $15 basically, $14.50. Naturally, yes, there's going to be shipping and tax. We all know that. That's what we deal with here in the great US of A. Now, as a reminder, you also live in a world where Amazon exists. So if you have an Amazon Prime account, always keep in mind to check out, in this case, the monsters makers. Yes, they are available there on Amazon. Will you get a good deal with the Amazon Prime? I don't know because I'm not an Amazon Prime member. But if you, on the other hand, are, then you would know these answers to those questions. So there you go. You're going to see different types of colors like underneath the price there. The natural, the matte black, the Halloween white, the flesh tone. Stick with the natural, which is basically a white, because obviously if you're going to be using acrylic paint, it's pretty much a dye. You know, it's going to be toning the color of your base coat. For example, let's say you want your base coat to be red. You don't want to be using the matte black latex because, I mean, come on. It just doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. So therefore, you want your liquid latex to be white. Now, I know the majority of you out there are going to be rehauling your Halloween masks, Halloween kills, so stick to the white. That way you have a clean slate to go from there, just like I was doing in those tutorial videos. You don't need to worry about going to a gallon or 5 gallons unless you start making masks right away. And trust me, that subject would be from someone else because I don't know a damn thing about making masks. Maybe someday I will, but as of right now, I mean, I've watched enough tutorials on it, but I've never physically done it. Well, yeah, I did back when I was a kid, but I'm not going there. No. I was horrible at it then, and never mind. Let's get to the next particular subject. Yes, I was asked about acrylic paints, and you were asking me, is it okay? Does it matter on what type of acrylic paints that I use? Well, let's go here to a place that's up the street from me. Let me go onto their website here real quick. There we go. Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby, I'm not sure if it's located everywhere around the world or anywhere in this country, but I know it's pretty popular. They said it's about 2 miles up the road. When it comes to what type of acrylic paint, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. Now, if you're worried about the color, then use your common sense there. If, let's say it's a Michael Myers mask. If you're going to go the traditional white and black browns, you know, let's see what else. Red for blood, maybe. I would also get some yellow, get some blue, get some gray. The reason why I'm saying that, because sometimes when you mix that blue in with the white, it helps tone down your color. Using your imagination, or, you know, maybe you want a pink Michael Myers mask. Get you some pink paint, but don't get you that glitter neon stuff. Well, then again, if you want to glitter, it's totally up to you. But I'm sure the majority of you out there are asking, does it matter what type of? No, it doesn't. You could go buy that expensive $20 acrylic paint, or you could buy that $1 acrylic paint that you found at the dollar store, like I have in my cabinet right now. I've got a combination of dollar store, like 1 ounce, because I desperately needed brown and I was there. And I've got like what you see here on the screen, this brand right here. The reason why I've gone with this brand is because it's either $4.99 or $2.99, 8 ounces or 4 ounces. So yes, if you're in Hobby Lobby for the first time, do not be afraid to look around at different aisles or different corners, because they like to spread out, at least in my case, where I've noticed around here, they like to have like expensive stuff on one end and the cheaper stuff down the other. And this is also going to remind me to bring up the brushes, because I've had one of you ask, is it okay? Does it matter if I brush on my base coat or other paints? No, you can go that way, especially if you are on a very cheap budget. You cannot get yourself an air compressor, or you're afraid to go that route. You could brush it on. However, one thing I keep in mind, spend a few extra bucks on your paintbrushes. Don't get those really cheap ones with the bristles that are going to fall out. If you just blow on it wrong. No, you don't want to go there. Spend a few extra bucks. So think about it. Let's say you start painting your mask. And next thing you know, after a few, he said it, that's right, strokes, you're going to find some of those bristles falling off, and it's going to drive you nuts. Because now you got this little tiny bristle that's on your mask, or when it happens, you're almost done. And that's when the bristle falls right off. So what happens? You got to touch your mask. Now you've got this crease, this mark, and you're just like, ugh. So yeah, spend a few extra bucks on the brushes that you get. You're going to be a lot happier in the long run. Now, if you're like me and you prefer to use an air compressor because you do want to avoid that route, and I just prefer an air compressor. I get nice even, he said it again, strokes, and I'm just happier. So if you have, let's say, a Harbor Freight in your town, go check it out. If you've never been there, you're going to like this place. Why? Well, this is going to answer a couple other questions. As you can see right here on the screen, remember those like airbrush things that I was using, I was talking about, and I was showing you on the screen? Here's what they are. $10.99 at Harbor Freight. And I've had these for a good 2 years now. And I love it, because when it comes to doing a base coat, where I've got my all equal parts of the liquid latex, the acrylic paint, and the water, oh my God, it just goes so flowly, easily in here. And I don't have to worry about running those materials, those thick materials, to a nice airbrush. I mean, granted, that's a subject for another time, but I've been down there with cheaper airbrushes, and I'm not going to get into that. Trust me. $10.99 if you are wanting to go with the airbrush concept. And while you're there at Harbor Freight, and if you want to spend an extra $60 on an air compressor pretty much like mine, this is a hell of a deal. This is an oil-free airbrush compressor. It's quiet. It's very easy to use. It's very simple. And I highly recommend. Let's just say you have this thing and you use it constantly and it dies on you after 2 years. You got your $60 worth, if you know what I mean. Or if you just want to just try it, you don't want to spend the $60, then don't worry. Guess what? You can easily find it there at Harbor Freight, or even, and I'm going to pull it up here because I got all this stuff saved, Walmart. Okay, they may not have it there, but you can at least, if anything, if not on Amazon, but Walmart, you get yourself some airbrush, air in a can. Okay, they have different sizes and all that. So if you want to try that before you go get an air compressor, there's that method there. And if you're not quite sure what it's called, let's say you're at Harbor Freight, just ask one of the guys there. Say, yeah, I need that. I'm starting to airbrush, but I need the can, they'll know what they're talking about. So yeah. Was there anything else real quick? I feel like I'm rushing it because I really want to get something to eat. No, that's it. That's it, guys. Don't feel bad. I want you to think that I'm making fun of you in any way. No, I'm not. Look, I get it. Sometimes when I watch some of these tutorials, it's like, oh man, I don't quite understand what he was talking about there, and you still feel like you needed more information. And chances are this information that I gave you right now is still a little bit, confusing. But just take your time, be patient, do some more research here on YouTube. Look at other YouTubers that's been doing this stuff. Maybe with a combination of what I'm telling you here and what they're telling you, it'll all make sense. I know it's tough, but the more homework you do and the more you get your hands wet with this, the easier it's all going to get. So, that all being said, yeah, I think I'm going to zip it now because I'm starving. All right. Well, you guys, please be safe. Take good care of yourself. And last but not least, please, for the love of God, make sure you wipe your butt, because there might be a pretty lady around the corner and she'll appreciate it just as much as I do. All right, that being said, I'm going to get something to eat. Talk to you later. Bye.
Mm-hmm.